Personal responsibility. Now, in regards to belief, this is a super important one. This is a program in itself. And, I have mentioned this before in prior lessons, but I did want to give a little touch point on this, because if you can jump into this one, you can save yourself a lot of time, pain, and suffering, in that you will take your power back. Oftentimes the problem is that people give their power away. They give their power away to the things, the people, the experiences, and the events around them. And they essentially blame or complain about things outside of them for their own inner condition. This person makes me mad. That experience makes me sad. This person makes me happy. And in doing so, what we're doing is we're giving our power outside of ourselves. The funny thing is that you still have the power but you're just placing it on them. So the simple example is when there's someone in your life that makes you mad or triggers you. Now that person has got a very good lesson for you, because essentially they're showing you that you've given your power away. The essence of what I'm trying to say is that we need to take personal responsibility for everything within us, for the way we think, for the way we feel, for the way we are physically, spiritually, for our external life, for everything. Because when you take that power into yourself, when you take personal responsibility, you no longer give the power away to influence your own inner condition and also influence your outer position in life, meaning your actual expression of your potential in your lifestyle and the things around you. So by stepping into the belief that you are the master of your internal world, by stepping into the belief that you are personally responsible for the way you are, you can start to already transform yourself in a powerful way. Now, I was speaking with a mother this morning, and she was saying, my son, he's so naughty and makes me so stressed. My son is making me stressed. Now you can already see the problem in this equation, because she was actually really quite stressed out. She was like shaking with stress and on the verge of tears, and she eventually did cry because she was feeling such a high level of stress inside. And the problem was that she was saying that the stress was because of the way her son was acting. Now, the thing is that you can't control how others will act, how they'll speak, how they'll move, and what they'll do in their life. That's them. You can't control other people. It's a fact. They will do what they want to do. You might be able to influence them to a degree if they're A, young, or B, too weak to be able to, stand up for themselves, but you can't control everyone. Now, the reason that's important is because if your emotional stability and your mental health and your internal world is based on the actions of others, you're fucked. Because you're never, ever, ever, ever going to be able to control everyone outside of you. So what does that mean for us? We want to bring the way we feel, the way we think back into ourselves, knowing that we are the master of our emotions. And I feel the way I feel because of me. I think the way I think because of me. My life is the way it is because of me. Now, this isn't an excuse to be guilty or shameful about your current life situation or your current emotional or mental condition, right? Because, you can look at it this way. You're born into life and you have certain parents, and then you go to a school and you go through some kind of religion potentially, and you watch TV and you have the influence of the media. So there's a lot of these different influences in your life that program you to a degree and get you looking at life in a certain way. It's not your fault that you have certain programs that might not be supportive of your potential, but it is your responsibility to transform them if you want to express your potential and if you want to live into your spiritual intentions. So it's not your fault, but it is definitely your responsibility. That's why the belief and the alignment with personal responsibility is such a powerful one, because you take the power back from everything that you've been giving power to. This person, this place, this event, this experience, my dad betrayed me back in the past, or whatever it might be. All the different experiences in your life that led to this point that you've projected power onto, you need to draw that back. I am personally responsible for my life in all areas. I am the captain of my fate. I am the master of my soul, so to speak. I think there was some dude who said that, and it's true. Because whether you give that power to someone else and you delegate it out, so to speak, or whether you own it in yourself, either way, you're utilizing that same faculty. So, moving forward, anytime you feel, and generally speaking, like it's much easier, or at least more pertinent to want to change or at least shift when a negative emotion comes up in relation to someone, like someone does something or says something, right? They cut in front of you in traffic, oh, that person made me angry because they cut in. They cut in and you chose to get angry because they cut in. So what I'm getting at is when things happen in a way in your life which potentiate a negative emotion, that's a fantastic opportunity to then take responsibility for the way you feel. I am feeling this anger because I have anger in me. I'm feeling this anger because I'm choosing to be angry and focusing on that which potentiates anger. The person cutting in front of me imagining myself getting hurt and then getting frustrated with them and getting angry from the situation, as opposed to, you could change the thought and go, oh, maybe that person's in a hurry and they need to get somewhere. I'll give you a little story which can kind of help you get a little shift in some degree. So, I can't remember where I read this, but I think it might have been from the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I can't remember. Maybe. But the story goes, there was this guy who he'd gotten on a train. He was like a business professional dude, and he was sitting on the train. And there was this other guy sitting over to the side, like a father, obviously, and he had like 3 or 4 kids, let's just say 3, and they were being loud and noisy and obnoxious, and disturbing all the other passengers on the train, and the business guy sitting there getting slowly more and more frustrated, moment to moment. Over time, it just continues on. The kids are being loud and boisterous and obnoxious and annoying people. And the father's just sitting there kind of like dazed and confused, just kind of there half asleep. And then the businessman is getting more and more kind of frustrated with the situation, wanting them to calm down. And he looks over to the man and says, excuse me, can you tell your kids to settle down? And the man who was half asleep opens his eyes and says to, sure, no problem. I just found out that my wife died and we're heading to the hospital and I just don't know how to deal with it. And the businessman said in that moment his heart sunk, and he went from being like frustrated and upset and angry with this whole situation and the father's inability to control his kids to more a sense of empathy and compassion for him. So what I'm getting at is the way you kind of perceive things, the way you navigate your life really comes down to the way you perceive things, and that experience helped him to shift his perception. The person cutting in front of you in traffic might need to get somewhere importantly, and everyone has their story, right? Everyone has their reason for being the way they are. So what I'm getting at is, rather than give off your power, rather than blame things and others for the way you feel, try to shift yourself to a place of personal responsibility. And secondly, you can use a little bit of empathy and a little bit of understanding and a little bit of compassion to just ease out and soften your own judgments of yourself and others. So, start by taking personal responsibility for the way you feel, for the way you think. And look, it's not to say that life experiences don't penetrate to a degree, because we are human. We do feel, we have emotions, we have thoughts, we have energy within ourselves. We are frequency as well as a physical body. So yes, we are programmable. Yes, we can be influenced, but by taking the power back in you via intention, I am personally responsible, right? Then you can start to experience life in a more powerful, peaceful, and joyful way. So, if you have any questions, please do put them in the community section, and I look forward to seeing you in our next video.